There we go. Good evening, everybody. It is 6:58, so we're not going to start for 2 minutes. So if you're watching the replay, fast forward 2 minutes. Let's talk about me. Let's not. I'm getting on the verge of being ready to change strings on this. I tell everybody, change strings once a year, whether you need it, whether you play it or not. You got to change strings once a year. If you play it a lot, you got to do it more than that. I play this thing a lot. I think it's been a year and a half since I changed strings. They're absolutely miserable. I keep threatening to do it, and it's not happening. So don't use me as a good example of how to change strings, other than use on the website, by the way, Jolly Roger, there is a video on there on how to change your own strings. Do it, and once a year at least, man. If you play every day, you should change them even more. It's silly that we just let these ukuleles sort of limp along, sadly, with the kind of crummy old strings on them. When you spend an hour replacing the strings, if you get good, it takes about 15 minutes. And your ukulele for the next couple of days after that sounds terrible because it's always out of tune. But then after that, it just comes to life. And so fluorocarbon is your friend on ukuleles. It is mostly your friend on guitars, but a lot of times I just use regular nylon on some of the old school classical guitars, depending on what you're playing, of course. And then you'll just be really happy with what it sounds like. Every time I play this lately, it just makes me mad. I'm like, come on, Gary, change the strings for goodness sakes. All right, tonight it's 7 o'clock. Let's get going. Tonight for book 1, we're finishing Three Blind Mice. You know that you wanted to learn that song, and then we get into the meat of the program finally. That's not true. We get into the better songs in the program. So tonight we'll take a look at Brahms Lullaby. Usually when students are taking in person from me, this is the song that really captures them. Like if I can get them through Brahms Lullaby, they suddenly realize, oh wait, I am sounding amazing, and I'm not playing songs designed to teach me something anymore. I'm trying to play a song for the song, and so that's one of the things that I love about Brahms Lullaby. It marks this moment in time. Lesson 11. You've been at this for 11. And remember, the first 6 lessons are all on the same day, right? So here you are 5-6 days into ukulele, and you're playing legit stuff. So Brahms Lullaby, famous classical piece. You'll know the tune. Everybody on earth knows the tune because it's what you put the baby to sleep with. And then for book 2 tonight, we'll finish Vive La Companie. We'll probably not finish Ashgrove because it's pretty hard. And then we'll start Danny Boy. And so we got good stuff going there. Tomorrow, join me for I Want to Hold Your Hand, Imagine, and Let It Be. That's temporary. If I have time, I need to update one other piece of sheet music, and I may have time tomorrow. And so if I update that, then I'm going to change out that list. Right now it says Hey Jude. We're not going to play Hey Jude anymore. I've had it with Jude and his needing to be hayed. All right. Next thing is, if you are watching the replay on these videos, toss me an email. Let me know you're paying attention to that, and if they're doing you any good. That's the other thing. A lot of times, oh goodness, with these recordings, not that many people attend live, but I notice when I'm looking at the YouTube statistics in the back shop, a whole lot of people are looking at these, and so I just want to know who you are, what you're doing, what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. I know I'm doing everything right, but I want you to tell me if it's making sense to you. All right, so let's take a look at Three Blind Mice. Make sure we agree on what I said last week is important. All right, what I think is important on Three Blind Mice, let me get up the right piece of software here, and let's go over to Ukulele Book 1, and scroll down to the T's. What I think is important is rest stroke, and that should be something that you absolutely care about a lot in ukulele. So if your thumb is coming down and you're going to play 2 strings, it rests on the string right below it. If you're going to play 3 strings, your thumb rests on it below there. And that's how Three Blind Mice is designed to be played. Now, there are many, many, many times when you're going to be pulling your fingers up. And you're also going to learn rest stroke that way. Right? So if I'm playing one string, you rest on the second. If I'm playing this string, rest there. Rest stroke allows your instrument to sound, you have a little more pop to it and a little bit more sound that comes out of it, and it works out really well. Okay, so that's when you're strumming or when you're pulling up, even when you're plucking, and you want to be able to do these rest strokes, right? The other thing that comes up with rest stroke is when not to do it. So when we're doing arpeggios, for example, we're very rarely doing rest stroke. We're usually letting the string ring and our finger is not touching anything else, because with an arpeggio, you don't want to... It's actually kind of cool, but typically we don't do that, right? Because there's just too much going on in our arpeggio to stop the strings. And there are certain songs, I'm trying to think if I have arranged any. I don't think I've arranged any where you would use rest strokes in an arpeggio pattern, but it's pretty uncommon. Let's see, the other things to think about here. Three Blind Mice has only got the key of C, or the chord of C. Okay, so it's not a lot to sing, right? Three blind mice, right? And then you just play the whole thing and you're done. The reason I like to use 1-2 chord songs when you're learning is it minimizes the crazy that's going on over here, so we can focus a little bit on what's supposed to be going on over here. And when we go to the typical ukulele get together or a typical ukulele teacher, they're going to be really obsessed with getting your chords on in a certain way and teaching you all of this, because their intention you're going to sing, and so this hand doesn't matter that much. It's just this all the time, but not all the time, most of the time, too much of the time. But when we're working on trying to get the ukulele to do the singing, we have to get a lot smarter with this hand. And so let's play Three Blind Mice. And remember, if your brain's melting down over this, just play the melody. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Oh, to, oh. Oh, to, oh, sounds beautiful. Okay, now let's grab let's go straight to tough uke here. I think you can do it. Okay, and remember, your thumb stops on the string. You're not going to play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Now we're going to do 3, 1, 1, 0. And we're going to do it again. Then we're going to hit the 3 again, and then up to the top string. Up to the top string. Okay, that's what you're doing. And notice every single time my thumb is actually stopping and resting on a string. If you have been playing at this a little bit and you want to get to that next level, you also should go back and play it with your claw. Okay, and let's do that just for fun. It's a different technique. It's not the purpose of this piece of music, but it is an important technique to be able to do. So take your 4 fingers and assign them to the 4 strings: thumb, index, middle, ring, and then make sure they're at a 45-degree angle so they don't run into each other. Right? Don't have them like this, because then there's nowhere for them to go. You want them to be all at a 45-degree angle. And then they all have room to go someplace, okay? And then let's pluck through just the tough acts again. If you're newer, maybe just pluck the melody using this system, right? But if you're working on tough uke, which you should be at this point, we're going to use multiple fingers depending on the situation. So first one is 3 fingers, then 2 fingers, and then 2 fingers, and 3 fingers, so on. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, ready, go. Again. 3, 1, 1, 0. One of the things I notice as I'm playing that is much harder to play it that way because you're not using a rest stroke, and that means the melody note is not coming out noticeably louder than the accompaniment, and so it's a little harder to hear the melody as when you play it in that system. And therein lies the beauty of rest stroke, is it just takes care of that stuff for you magically. I'm not going to play that instrument because that one is stupid, and let's try this instrument. Let's take a peek at the baritone version of this. And if you have a baritone, you're grabbing that right now and you're like, oh, thank God, baritone. But if you don't have a baritone, you're going to play a G chord while I play this song. Okay, it's a good chance for you to memorize your G chord. On ukulele, a G chord is index finger right there, third string, second fret. Middle finger is first string, second fret, and then ring fingers out here, third fret, second string. And we of course covered that shape in the strumming in the key of C when we did Waltzing Matilda. Okay, so that's your G chord. On baritone it's a D chord, so it sounds very different than your instrument. My humidifier went bananas in here today and did not turn off at the preset limit, and so everything is way over humidified tonight. All right, Three Blind Mice on baritone. If you're on ukulele, you're strumming with the G chord, and if you're on baritone, you're just doing the rest strokes like we just talked about. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum. Beautiful, right? Just a lovely, lovely tune that if you are, when we're working on learning about this hand, we want to minimize the activity going on in this hand. So really, you just hold the same thing, exactly the same, all the way down. If you're strumming, of course, let's say you're strumming in the key of G. I'm going to hold a key of what looks like a C chord, but it's really a G chord on this. And you're just strumming along. Three blind mice, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you do this sort of just simple basic thing, and you can either do the one single down or the down up, down up, down up, down up, down up. Anything that makes the song sounds better. While I'm playing one, you're playing the other. Always sounds super cool. All right, now that's Three Blind Mice. Nobody wants to learn how to play Three Blind Mice, but you did learn how to do rest stroke, and that's going to be really important starting right now. Let's go take a look at Brahms' Lullaby. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm going to talk about, I think I'll talk about it on ukulele, since most people look at ukulele or have a ukulele when they find this website. And then I eventually talk them into buying a baritone. You want to have both, right? Because typically when you go get together with other ukulele players, everybody has a ukulele, nobody has a baritone. And you can make yourself very handy by playing a little bit darker tonality. You do have to memorize your chord shapes because those won't be the same as theirs, but what we want to do is get you where you have lots and lots of options when you're playing music. All right, Brahms' Lullaby. First of all, C chord. Ba-da-da-da-dun-dun. We already know that chord. Yay! And on baritone, yours is going to be called a G chord. Okay? Then we play for a little while. Lullaby and good night with roses be. And you're going to switch to G7, or on baritone it's called a D7. Dight. So roses be dight. Wonder who? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. Apple Pay is ready to be set up in settings. Not now. Not ever. Notice as we go through this song, you're like, I think I know this song. And then you start reading the lyrics, and you're like, I don't know this song. Lullaby and good night with roses be dyed. G7 or D7, depending on which instrument you have. With lilies be spread, is with babies we bed. So notice how little motion is going on over here. G chord to C chord back to G chord, C, G7, C, G7. If you're on baritone, G, D7, G, D7. I do this a lot when I'm getting ready to do a song where I'm going to be doing some strumming. I just want to teach my hands the correct way. I'm not even lifting this finger up. The ring finger is just sliding up, sliding back, sliding up, sliding back, right? So that way there's no chance of me missing this chord because my ring finger's never gotten up off the ground there. Okay, very helpful thing to remember when you're learning your chords of a song. What's the least amount of extra energy you can do to get there? Okay, so we got all the way down back to measure 9. Lay you down now. Okay, so from C to F, back to C, rest. May your G7, D7 slumbers be blessed. C or G. Lay you back to the F, down now and rest. May your slumbers be blessed. Okay, so let's do the chords. Now, does this sound like this? Lullaby and good night. No, that does not sound like. That's not the good way to do this. Okay, probably one strum per measure. Okay, don't get in a rush. 1, 2. Lullaby and good night with roses be dyed. Way too high for me. With lilies be spread. 'Tis babies weep bed. Lay you down now and rest. May your slumbers be blessed. Lay you down now and rest. May your slumbers be blessed. Now, if you're like me and you can't sing, or no, you shouldn't be singing. I guess let's put it that way. You got to work harder, as you have figured out. And when you are a singer, know the chords, know the lyrics, memorize the lyrics. People expect that of you, and then off you go, right? And you're done. And you don't need ukulele lessons. You need singing lessons. If your goal is not to sing, then you learn the melody. So let's play through the melody. One of the things that you'll notice on this song, it's either a 0, a 1, a 2, or a 3. And we talk about positional playing a lot, but this one is very straightforward. If it's a 1, you're going to use your index finger. If it's a 2, you're going to use your middle finger. If it's a 3, you're going to use your ring finger. There is a caveat to that. A lot of times when I'm playing, I will bring my pinky up into that 3rd fret, which allows me to use my ring finger on this next string above. Oftentimes I'll find myself using my pinky on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string as well. So just get comfortable with the idea that here's the out of the box standard issue is index finger in 1, middle finger in 2, ring finger in 3, and just know that's sort of the expectation. However, there's plenty of times when it's going to make more sense to put your pinky in the 3rd fret, and it's always going to be in the 4th fret. Okay, and then after this song, we're going to start moving up the neck, and we're going to have you playing in 3rd position, and then even up into 5th position. Okay, and by the time we get to the end of the book, 10th position is a legitimate thing we're going to be working on. So we're going to open up that fretboard here starting next week. Okay, this week your job is to get this song to sound as beautiful and pretty and you got to put the baby to sleep this week. Okay, so we'll go through melody only. If you own a baritone and you don't own a ukulele, just play the chords with me. But hopefully you've got your ukulele there and you are going to play melody with me. Okay, if it's a 3, use your ring finger. 2, middle finger, index 1. 1, 2. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 3, 3, 2. Oh, 3, 2, 0, 1, 201. 21203. 23. 003. 013. 0013. 03. 003. 013. 01020. And then you repeat. Okay, remember the second time you come down, you don't play measure 17, you skip to measure 18. Okay, next, oh, and the measure numbers are goofy. All right, so next, so that's your goal this week. Get that super smooth. That should hopefully by this point in the program, you're doing fine with that. Okay, if you're not, let's put in some more time because it's going to get more intense as we go along, and being able to play melody is important, especially when the speed doesn't matter. Our main goal is to get you fast enough playing melody is to get you ready for orchestra, right? And they meet on Monday nights. While I'm playing harmonica, they're playing legit hardcore, big time music, and it's all recorded too, right? So you can actually play along with them on the recordings, and so that's the goal, right? Get really good at playing melody. That's what I want you to do. Next, however, is I also want you to be good at playing solo ukulele, and that's where we're going to be using what we just learned in Three Blind Mice on more complicated chording. So remember, on Three Blind Mice and in Spaghetti Monster, you held whatever finger you needed to hold here and then strummed. Now we're going to start adding in 2 or sometimes even 3 fingers over here while we're strumming over here. Okay, so let's go through it individually. If you're on baritone, it's exactly the same. You're just in a different key. So you can hit those 2 zeros. Oh, oh. Now you're going to put a 3 here, and this is just like Three Blind Mice, 003 with the rest stroke. Okay, notice where my thumb ends up on that first string. Okay, then we're going to do it again. Oh, oh, put my 3 down and strum. Rest stroke on the first string. And then I got 03. And then I'm popping over onto the first string. This is one of these plays where I might bring my pinky in because the finger's busy and I like it to ring as long as possible. As I'm lifting it up, I'm strumming down. 3, 2, oh. Now here we're going to use 2 fingers. You're going to make it like you're putting on a G7, but you're not going to put anything. You're not going to put this ring finger down. You're just going to put a 2 down and a 1 down, and then leave the first string open. And then you're going to strum that. Okay, you hear that? Dum, dum. It feels wrong if you take it out of context. And then the next note is this 3. Okay, so it resolves right away. Bum, bum. That's classical music at its finest. Tension, resolution. Okay, and then make sure, and then let that ring for just a second. Then you've got, now, you've already got the 2 down, so hit the 2. Now your finger was on a 3, you got to lift it up, and don't forget your 1 was down, so lift it up, hit that 0, and then put that 1 back down, and do that again, but only 3 strings this time. Rest stroke on the first string, and then lift up your index finger, because you got a 2-0 coming, and put it back down. Okay. Now you've got 2, 1, those are already down. And 0, 2, 1, 2, finally a totally normal G7 or D7 if you're on baritone shape. Okay, and strum those down. Pull the 2 off and pluck it. You use a pinky or a ring finger here for the 3. Back to the 2 on the first string. And then everybody off except your 3 on the first string. Isn't that beautiful? Hit the 2 zeros. Now, here's a place where I for sure I'm going to tell you to use your pinky finger. 1, 2. There's your F chord. Got the F chord on. But now you're going to add a pinky finger, first string, 3rd fret. Okay? This is a big deal. This is going to come up so many times that it will no longer be a problem anymore. The first time you see it, you're like, what in the world are we doing here? You're putting the F chord on, but your melody is a 3, so you got to go get that. Now, you could go get it with your ring finger, but I'm going to tell you, in the long run, it's going to be a problem. So just use your pinky here. 2, 0, 2, 0, 1, pinky on 3. Okay? lay you down. Then take your pinky off. Oh, 1. And then now you can put your ring finger down on that 3. Okay? Oh, oh. Here we go back with this G7 on 2 or 3 strings. Pinky or your ring finger there is fine. And then ring finger probably here, 003. Okay, couple more zeros. Again, F chord with your pinky. It is essential. This is the most important lesson I'll ever teach you. It's not even close, but it's pretty important. Okay, 01. 003. Didn't hit that very clean. Then 00. Back to your G7 shape, but you're only going to play 3 strings of it. And then pull the 1 up. Hit the 2, it's already down. And then 2 zeros. Okay, now we're going to repeat. I'm just going to play. Okay, so if you hopefully you're not quite ready for that. Hopefully that's going to be a little bit of a struggle this week. But I'm going to play it nice and slow. See what you can do. See places where you kind of wipe out. Those are great places to start your study, right? So I often tell people in practice, don't play the whole song as a waste of your time. Play the parts you can't play, right? So the first couple measures of this are probably in your wheelhouse by now. But then you get this, right? That gets a lot harder. And so that might be a place to start practicing. Oh, I'm going to practice this hard part first. But and just start there. You don't need to play entire songs. You don't in practice. In practice, you're working on where's my hard spot. I'm going to fix that so that I know exactly what I'm going to do with my fingers, so that when I get to actually play this song, I'm going to coast through those easy parts, and I'm going to have the hard parts ready to go. I'm going to have them knocked out. Okay, I'm going to play the whole song, and you're going to listen. 1, 2, or that's wrong. I'm going to play the whole song. You're going to try to play the whole song. If you fail, it's pretty fine. 1, 2. Jumped over 17 and played 18. Okay, and you see 18, 0003 with the wiggly line. Wiggly line means you must play it with your thumb. Okay, and they'll bring that up only because some of you are getting this and you're like, you know what, I need a bit of a challenge. That's when you go to your claw position and play it that way. I said you have to use your thumb on that last one. I just cheated. Okay, so there we go. Brahms Lullaby, perfect song. Spend the whole week. Just this is your moment. If you made it to here and it's making sense, you're going to be fine the rest of your life playing ukulele. You're going to get better and better, and your solo skills are going to increase. There's still a few other tricks up my sleeve to make your life heck, but for the most part, it's going to be smooth and easy playing from here out. So get Brahms Lullaby, get the melody, get the chord changes, get the tough uke together, and everything else will be more of the same with slight variations in either this hand or this hand. Okay, so we're almost there, guys. You're almost legit fingerstyle players. All right, that's book 1. Let's go take a look at book 2. We're going to just play out at 7:30. I know I want to last take long enough to make sure that the dude that's on the TV right now is done with whatever he's saying, so that I can have a rational conversation with my wife about whether we're watching Arrested Development or 30 Rock, both of which she hates, but which I think are hilarious. And we just finished the whole 30 Rock series, and she's like, oh my God, I'm so glad that's over. And I'm like, come on, man, that was hilarious. And then we started watching Arrested Development. I haven't quite figured out if I like that or not, but it is like, it's nerve-wracking to watch. There's all this craziness going on. All right, Vive La Companie on ukulele. If you only have a baritone, you're playing chords. If you are playing ukulele, you're either on melody or tafuk. Okay, I won't go too fast. It's in 6, so we count in 2 and then go. 1, 2. Whoops, let's go to the top. Second ending. Yeah, beautiful. Nice. Isn't that pretty? Let's switch to baritone. Ukulele players, let's see if you're ready for this. Okay. I'm going to play the baritone. If you don't have a baritone, you're automatically on chords. All right. Let's see what happens. Oh, we have Water is Wide coming. So exciting. We have so many good songs. All right. Vive La Companie on baritone. If you're on ukulele, G chord, right? Bum, A minor, right here. D7 is these two fingers right there. You can also do a bar with the third string of the third fret, first string pressed down. G, D7, A minor. There's one other chord in here somewhere. E minor, way down at the bottom on 13. E minor is the stair step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. Let's see what happens. Baritone. 1, 2. Doom. I don't know, something like that. There, isn't that nice? It's a really beautiful piece of music. When you go on YouTube, there's all these barbershop quartets and male singing voices type things singing in. Really very, very beautiful piece of work. Ash Grove. Let's go play Ash Grove. Dun, dun, dun. This one's hard, you guys, so make sure you're ready for it. I'm going to do baritone first just because it's in my lap, and then we'll do the ukulele version. Okay, so if you're on ukulele, same chords again, right? G chord, A minor chord, D7 chord, and this one also has an E minor down there. Isn't that funny? Okay, exact same chords as we just played. Completely different song. And I think I changed the words on this to be ukulele oriented because that way it's not about an ash grove. And hopefully you'll have fun with it. Much harder to play, so don't go fast. Okay? I played my ukulele for 1 minute every day. That's what I find most helpful on the website about those MP3s is I don't know if I'm going to listen to the whole song, but I needed to know how it gets started, right? I need to know how it starts. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that song. And that's what I use the MP3s a lot is like, how do I need to get started? Get it in my ear just a little bit before I get going. Okay, if you're on ukulele, you're on chords. If you're on baritone, you're either melody or tough uke. 1, 2. Back to the top. Where did I mess up there? I messed up something. Oh, let's see. Let's go back to 4. I don't know what I goofed up there. Something didn't feel right. Measure 4. Measure 6. Measure 7. Skip to 9. It's really hard. Back to the top. Get ready to jump. Page 2, 18. Okay, so where did I mess up? The exact spots where I need to practice, right? When I get down, I'm doing great. I got through the whole first section, now no problem, played this top section again. Then when you get to that third section where you're way up the neck, that's where things get pretty ugly. And I made some really poor fingering choices, and all of a sudden I was stuck. I'm like, I gotta pull this chord off and refix things. And so The other challenge with this song is that it's not always scalar. Sometimes it's going up, sometimes it's going down in places where you're like, wait a minute, wait for me. When you look at the standard notation, it is pretty scalar, but my brain was not having it. So, all right, beautiful piece. Let's play it on ukulele. I'm going to do better on ukulele, I think. All right. All right, here we go. From the top. All right. All right. 2 beats count in. Let's do it. 1, 2. Back to 1. Second ending. Back to the top. Jump to the end. Okay, that's a tough song. Okay, that middle section there is really quite challenging. So next week we're going to have it perfect. Okay, we're all going to work on it this week, and next week is going to be beautiful. Okay, so put your brain into that one. If you're book 2, right? If you're not book 2, then don't then focusing on book 1. All right, last song we're going to do tonight, Danny Boy, and we're just going to learn it, right? So we're not going to worry about playing it over much. Everybody knows Danny Boy, hopefully. Some people don't. Danny Boy ukulele. Again, baritone is exactly the same, I hope. I'm going to go peek. Danny Boy, the same mistakes in the same spots. Good. So Danny Boy is the same thing as in both baritone and ukulele. So we'll learn it on ukulele, and baritone players, you will automatically convert. Okay. So baritone, 0-1-3 to start it off. Da, oh, Danny. Okay. Now, again, in book 2, I need you to make sure you know the chords. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. Okay, so I need you to know the chords. There's not only 3 chords in Danny Boy, unbelievably, but they're not in my version. They're the kind of tough chords. Okay, if you're on baritone, F chord really sucks, B flat's pretty much sucks, and C7 is another kind of crummy one. But on baritone, you're not going to play it in that key, right? In baritone, you're going to be playing in the key of C, which you're like, yay! Okay, so baritone has a better key to play in, and that'll make it really fun to play with ukulele, right? So if you're on ukulele, oh Danny boy, the pipes are calling, Glen to Glen and down the mountainside. So you play on ukulele from the baritone chords, easy peasy, right? But that's not how I like to do stuff. I wanted to make it, by the time you're on book 2, I want you to suffer. So, okay, melody is exactly what you'd expect. I will point out one point, okay? You're going along, you're like, I kind of like this song. And then you get to page 2, and it's all up the neck, 8775, and you got all that going on. And by the time you're hating 8775, and look what shows up, measure 12. I'm sorry, measure 13. This note. Okay? That note. And we will talk when we get there this week. You're playing, oh, I'll be here. Okay? When you hit that 12, the 3 notes in front of it are 3, 3, 3. Okay? 2 very book 2-ish techniques. One, when you first start, I do not ever want you to slide your finger up and down on the strings. I want you to use different fingers, right? That's one of the things we have to learn. But now I would for sure want you to use your index finger here. Oh, I'll be. Oh, I'll be. Slide. And you want to be able to hear that slide. And you got to get it right. So make sure you know where your 12 is. If you have to add a little dot on it or something. Okay. So that's one technique, is I need you to slide up from 3 to 12 accurately. The other technique I got to get you to do is to do some vibrato on that 12. Okay. A little bit of a wiggle. Okay. Whenever you have a super high note like that, that's supposed to last a little bit, let's get everything we can out of that note by wiggling it a little bit and adding that vibrato. So I'm not doing anything fancy other than wiggling my finger. Oh, I'll be here, and then you can go back into normal playing. Up in sunshine or in shadow. Okay, so that 12 is a big deal. It's coming up, and it's right after this section where you're like, oh, I kind of hate all these up the neck notes. And then about time you're thinking, okay, maybe he's letting up on it. Bam, here comes this 12. Okay, so we want to get those 2 techniques correct. In terms of playing the tafuk, okay. Again, when you're down in the lower part of the neck, look at the whole first page. That's all book 1 stuff. Everything is there is very straightforward. Nothing in there that's going to eat your lunch. Page 2, everything is going to eat your lunch. And so you've got from measure 9 through measure 13 is really pretty tough going. So let's walk through it very quickly. Okay, 0, 1, 3. And then an F chord, C chord on baritone. I'm going to use my pinky on this 3. That way I don't got to lift anybody up. And then my pinky's all warmed up to go to 5, 3, 0. Now, when you see 3, 2, 3, unfortunately, you're thinking index, middle, ring, right? That's the first thing. But probably usually not. That's a B flat. It's always going to be a B flat. And so you really want to use your middle, ring, and pinky up there. Okay, let me see if I can get to you. So your first thought is index, middle, ring. The problem is now your index finger's in use, and you're going to need it on for this note. So middle, ring, pinky. Okay. Call, and then you're going to switch to the 1. Ring. Okay, that 3 there is a decorative note, and it's going to sound really cool on baritone. It's going to sound great on low G ukuleles. On high G, it's going to be a little bit much. Bang! It's going to feel like, what is going on there? So if you're on a high G ukulele, you may decide not to play it at all. Okay. Whoops. Okay, and then just let it ring. Okay. Okay, there's an F chord with the 3 we were talking about on Brahms Lullaby. 5. Here's a 003 from 3 Blind Mice. Now, those 0 zeros are like, what are those doing there? They're helping you keep the beat. Don't be shy about them. Measure 15, F chord. Pinky. 5, 3, oh, weird B3 shape. Bing. Right, again, if you're on high G, you might not want to play that note. All of this we've covered, every last one of these except for this B flat, we've already covered in book 1 by lesson 11. Okay, so the B flat we haven't covered yet because B flat's evil. On baritone, you're dealing with that B flat shape from the very beginning, so you're way more ready for it than the ukulele players. But it is through a middle, ring, and pinky. Okay, so that's the only book 2 scale on that whole entire page. Then we go into page 2. Okay, so you got to pick up into page 2. But come ye. Okay, and now we've got this bar on 5, pinky on 8. Okay, now once you get comfy with that shape, the bar on 5, pinky on 8, that's going to come up a million times because it's an F chord up the neck. Baritones, it's your C chord up the neck. You're going to be playing it all the time. Okay. Okay, middle finger here, and then look what you got, 7, 6, 5, and your ring finger is already on the 7, so just put your 6 and your 5 on there. Looks really weird, it's like a backwards chord. Okay, supposed to getting all these cool sounds in there. Okay, and it's not real, I didn't arrange it with a pure B flat there. That's a G chord on the top, it's not, doesn't belong in there. But it sounds super mystical. 5, 3, 5, F with the pinky. Okay, you see that if you're playing melody, the tie there, the 1 tying to the 1, you want to play that. Play the tie and just leave it like it is. But if you're playing tough uke, I want you to take a little red pen and just cross off that tie because it sounds better to hit that 1 twice. So I'll show you. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, but the idea is if I just hit the 2 2s, one, it's going to stop the 1 from ringing, and it just doesn't sound quite whole enough. So just cross out the little that goes across only on tough uke. On melody, I want you to play it just as is. Okay. Okay, and then probably don't chase your pinky here. Pull up. Bar on 5, pinky on 8. Ring finger's already on the right string, so just fix these other 2 fingers. Grab the 5. Again, just to keep the beat. And here it is. Index finger. Write it down. Index finger. Okay. Unfortunately, it would be lovely if it was, right? But unfortunately, you have a mean whole chord here on tough uke. It's going to be 8, 8, 9, 10, 12. Okay, that is a mess of a chord. That's really book 3 stuff. This is not stuff for book 2. Okay, ow. And because I have to play with the pinky here, I'm going to play with the pinky down here. And then I'm looking for my frets as I'm coming down. Okay, and then back to the 10. Change to the bar. 8, 5, 8, and then here. At the very end of the song, you got this F chord, C chord on baritone shows up again. Okay, so that's how you end it. But what did we find out? The only things you really need to practice on this are measures 9 through 14. Like 9 through 14. If you can get 9 through 14, you can get the whole song. Okay, so we'll go through it one more time really slow. Do we got a minute? We got 1 minute to do this. Okay, really, really slow from 9 through 15. Together, 1, 2, crazy, slow. Bar 8, 7, change your fingers to 7, 6, 5. Hit the 5 somehow, hit the 3, pinky on 5, slide it down, F chord with the 3, full D set 3, 3, 5, 7, pinky on 8, bar on 5, ring finger on 7, change the other 2 fingers, 5, 3, 0, 0, 0, 3, pinky, index finger on 8, middle finger on 9, ring finger on 10, pinky on 12, get the 10 on, bar 10, 8, 5, 8, second ending. Okay, so there you got it. Okay, work on page 2 of Danny Boy, and the rest of Danny Boy will cooperate. I feel pretty confident about that. Hopefully tonight made some sense. If you're on book 1, stay focused in on book 1, and when we switch to playing in book 2, you switch to playing in melody, and don't worry so much about tough uke. It's too hard. Both Ashgrove and Danny Boy are just too daggone hard if you're brand new in book 1 and you're just trying to get your head around all this stuff. You're working on Brahms Lullaby to get your tough uke together, and it is hard enough. It's not, and it's way easier than this stuff, right? And so when you're new, that stuff's plenty hard. After you've been around a while and your fingers are starting to be like, oh, here's where Gary does this stupid thing, and you'll start having enough experience with it, doing some of the other songs in book 1, that by the time you get here, then you're like, all right, I know what he's up to. I can figure this out. But I would say 8, 9, 10 with your pinky on 12 is just about as hard as you're going to get in book 2. Okay? And it's not my fault. I didn't write that song. I just had to fit it onto this instrument. Danny Boy I struggled with for years trying to find how to fit this thing on the instrument, because your lowest note is right here and your highest note is here. Well, that's pretty hard to have much choices when you're playing up that high. There is one other way to write this out, but the chords get equally and more significantly wonky right off the bat, and so that's why you don't have that version here. All right, that's what I know about. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. We have successfully avoided the TV for hopefully the correct number of minutes, and I hope you can just spend a little bit of time playing ukulele until the world is right again. And I will see all of you tomorrow night for the Beatles. And again, take what's on the website right now with a grain of salt. I think I may be changing a couple of those songs out, but at least it gives you a sense. If you remember, you should be playing that stuff, even if I do end up updating the sheet music, because it's not going to change that much. And thank you all for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.